did everything could to eradicate this, and graffiti has evolved around that. And you have stickers and wheat paste and these tiny pieces of street art that sort of work with their surroundings in context and are very popular. And now you have people like Banksy and Swoon and all these artists that are really mainstream artists and are very popular. And it's kind of the same, they're in the same profession, advertising and graffiti. You're both trying to shout at people in public. And graffiti's learnt to be very, very good at that in recent years. And advertisers are sort of figuring this out now as well. And I think things like Google Ads and
sometimes they're figuring out a little bit too well. I'm forgetting her name, but there was a very good speaker who talked about street art at a conference a year ago, and she pointed out that the U.S. Postal Service basically co-opted a combination. First, they contracted with a graffiti artist and did some stuff, and then they also basically turned all. You know how the post box looks an awful lot like R2-D2?
Yeah, the one at the end of our street was R2.
Yeah, well, they started painting them all up. They started using Star Wars themes on the Postal Service, and she was incensed that they were basically creating commercial, that the government was basically creating all this branded commercial street art. So there's some interesting meetings in the middle there somewhere that I think are great, and I'm a big fan of sponsorship as well, instead of advertising.
Paul, you have a question?
Yeah. There are a little over 6 billion people in the world who enjoy various forms of entertainment. What's the relevance of this discussion to the 3 or 4 billion who have no connection to the net?
It's a very good question. I think the really interesting thing we're seeing happening is where people are getting connected to the net, but there's other shifts going on in society, especially when you're talking about people in the developing world. So much innovation has come from people doing things in weird ways in youth cultures and subcultures here in the West. And in many countries, we're seeing the first generation of teenagers